What's up, everyone? I'm looking over the side, checking my camera. But yeah, so welcome back to Hello Drunk World on the Dyslexic Developer. I need to figure out how to start this off and just introduce myself. But yeah, so in this, I wouldn't call it an episode. God, I should really watch back to see how I start these things off again. If you're watching along live, make sure to say hi in the chat. Grab a beer, grab a wine. So on this installment, yeah, that's what we're going to go for. We're going to go for installment. I'm going to be looking at a framework called Solid.js, which is what I see from like a kind of 10,000 foot meters view of it. It is a React replacement, kind of like Preact. Don't know if it's set for performance. Well, I'm looking at the website and it says performance, powerful, pragmatic. But the API looks very similar to React. So I kind of wanted to like dig into the playbook to see what it works. I'm probably not going to get too deep into it, but I think it's something I wanted to kind of dig into. And then obviously big news at the minute is Wordle, and everyone's sharing their Wordles on Twitter. So we're going to be building a Wordle clone. So I guess let's jump straight into it. So we've got the Solid.js site up, and we've got like a little kind of starter project. I created a starter project ahead of time just to kind of get the ball rolling. There's no point watching me run an npm install. I guess we'll jump into the docs because that's what I'm going to be kind of digging into most. It's kind of good that it is based off React, because I'm going to be kind of trying to like push certain paradigms back and forth, and hopefully this Wordle clone is going to give some edge to edge cover the APIs and stuff. I can kind of see like it's got like its own kind of implementation of hooks. So obviously if you've been living under a rock, Wordle is this word game where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. You type your letters in. If the letter matches in the exact position, it goes green. If it doesn't match, then it doesn't get a color. If it partially matches, so it exists somewhere in that word but not in the right position, then it goes yellow. And that's what we're going to be trying. I don't know what the Wordle is of the day, but I'm a developer, so I can figure that out for myself. So let's drag our dev tools over here, zoom in, and if we do local storage dot, and then what is our storage? I'm looking for Wordle state. If we grab this, get item. So if you're dyslexic like me and you're terrible at Wordle, this is a perfect way to always win and get it on the first try. So we grab this. So we can see we have our string. So it's json.parse on this. And this is like the state of the app. I think Wordle doesn't have like a server or anything like that. It's all held in local storage. So we can see our game is in progress, and we can see our solution is shake. So if I do S LEEP, so I do sleep, S will go green and E goes orange or yellow, whatever your color side is. So that's telling me S is in the right position, as it should be because it's shake. E is in the word but not in the right position, and it's at the end. I'm trying to think of another word that starts. So we do shock. So H is in the right position. Oh, that was just by chance. And then we do shake. They're all green and woohoo, impressive. Now I'm not going to be doing any of these animations. I'm not going to do this leaderboard. I might have a go with the share where you can then it copies to the clipboard the emojis that you have. So I have solid Wordle, and Wordle is 2, 4, 5. I'm going to stick to 4 because I'm going to go for words like drunk, W-O-R-L-D. The world is drunk, drink, drank. Yeah, so we're going to go for 4-letter words just to make it a little bit easier. So we'll clear this and we'll see what do we have set up already so far. So as I was saying, we're using Solid.js to do this. Solid.js is kind of like a React-like application. That's the only thing I can kind of like bring it towards or liken it to. So a lot of the kind of paradigms will be very recognizable if you're a React developer. You know, we have a render function we can import because it's kind of like a webpack. Although this is built with Vite or Vite, depending on how you pronounce it. So we can import CSS files, we can import components, and then we render to DOM element. And the core of everything is in our app. So at the minute we just have a bunch of static HTML. We have some styles because we're using CSS modules, which came pre-packed. I wouldn't normally use style components, but CSS modules can work because if I wasn't using styled components, I would just use a normal CSS file and class names and bundle it that way. But let's give CSS modules a go while we're at this. Obviously, this is all static. We're going to have to generate this, and we will create a few components in our kind of directory here. I'm starting off a little gin to get me going. I've got the on-air sign. Hopefully, that'll stay on for the whole of the video. So enough of the gin, and on to our wine. So we got a little focus in there. This is a Calvet Malbec. We'll get our ASMR on the go. And if you hear me sniffling away, it's winterish time here, and I constantly got a cold in the bung nose, and this microphone picks up every breath that I give. I have to have a taste. Not too bad. I think I actually don't like Malbec. I think I like Merlot instead, but I keep buying Malbec. I let this one breathe for an hour. It's just done something. But yeah. That's right. Let's look at this. And obviously we can't edit this DOM every time. We need to like auto-generate this. So I guess we could create a component called grid that renders out, but let's think about this like from a data point of view first. What do we need to store? We need to store a row that has 4 items, and you get 6 attempts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4. So yeah, you get 6 attempts. So we need almost like a 4-dimensional array, which could be very tricky to work with. So I think we're going to go for yeah, because we only need to know this. No, we need to know the state of all of them. So we can have an array of rows. But is this going in the 4-dimensional array, isn't it? Yeah, we might tweak the data model as we go. So I'm thinking like we have like a const grid. And let's see if come on, Copilot complete it for me. So yeah. So const grid, that is an array, and that's going to be 2, 4, 5, 6. So that is our grid. Let's say 0 is our default, nothing's being done. So we comment this out. So nothing done. 1 Wordle done. Evening to you, Furious Biden. So 1 is Wordle done. We could go for that. What's Copilot going to give us? Wordle is being displayed. I don't know where Copilot is getting this auto suggestions from, but I don't know if I'm actually going to get it. So yeah, like 0 is like our null state. Nothing has been done on that square of the grid. Then, because we could do a pattern to say 0 is blank, 1 is correct, and 2 is close, and 3 is wrong. So we could manage our grid that way, but we also need to have, so our current row index is going to be 0 because we're doing a 0 based index, and we'll increment through that as the user does that. I think we could do it that way. So let's see how we can take this grid and render it out. So I'm already thinking we're probably going to have a component for our line, and then we'll just render that as many times as we have in the grid. So let's create a new file, and we'll call this row.jsx. I would normally go with JS, but I see a lot of projects use .jsx. And I get that, yes, it is a component, but a component is just a JavaScript file. Why denote? I suppose you denote the file by the extension, so you don't necessarily have to have all your JSX files in like all your components in a components folder. You know by looking at the file, if it's .jsx, it's a React component. If it's .js, it's just a JS file. I guess that makes sense. So, not ever using Solve before. I want to see what the example gave us, and does it have just like the basis of a component? This is all the lifestyle methods, but I think I'll keep the Wordle up for if anyone joins, they can see what it's about. So I think here we can just do const. I hate this function stuff. We're doing const. So const row, and we don't know what the props are for now, and it's going to do return, and each of our rows is going to be a list item which has an unordered list, which is each of the boxes. So let's grab that part. So we have a UL that renders an unordered list, which renders our boxes, and export default row. So now we can replace this with our row. Does it auto import? Nah, it doesn't. Or did it? And I just didn't see that. So we get row from /row. So now I can get rid of all of this static markup, and then just replicate row 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 6. Save this, refresh to make sure it's all still working. Obviously it's not. Refresh style, yes, styles is not defined. So we have like our app module CSS. Let's create a row.module.css and grab our styles that we had in here. So we care about the box. Do we care about the list in our row component? Styles.list row and box. So we need list or need box and list row. So we'll grab these, and inside row we can say Import. How does it do it on the app? Because I haven't done like CSS modules in a long time. So you import as styles and you do the dot notation. So we're going to do styles from. Oh, yep, that gives us the right one, and we can get rid of these, I guess, because we don't need any unnecessary styles. We don't have anything for app, so we don't care about that. Now this is still broken. Okay, it's working again. So so we printed our rows, but obviously we're not manually doing this. So let's now say grade map row index. We don't need. We'll need the index for a key potentially. Right, the solid use keys. Maybe not. If it doesn't, if it needs keys, it'll complain about it. So let's get rid of index. So row doesn't take any props yet. You know, a curly bracket. Save that. Come back here, refresh. It's nice dynamically rendering a row for the grid. But I guess, yeah, we could pass the row in. So we'll say, do I pass row to row? We'll call it row data. Let's call this data, and it'll pass row into it. Go into here. This now takes in a prop called data, and then we can say, right, let's generate this based off our data, because we know data is an array of numbers. So we can say data.map. Maybe not take all the suggestions from GitHub Copilot. Oh, I just took the suggestion. I'm trying to learn, so we're going to say return, and I guess we'll return the item. We'll render the item inside of it. Which doesn't really change, but oh, we need a wrap that and curly brackets. Okay, so we can print out our zeros. Now we don't want zeros, we want empty squares. So we potentially need like a little function that will tell us what we need to render based on it. So we're gonna say const process cell, because we're working with tables and cells. And in here we're going to say a switch statement. Is it going to give us what we need? Now, let's review all this auto-generate code for us. So 0 means nothing. Now they're not going to be divs. Well, it could be a div. No, I wanted to change how the li is rendered. So this might actually be how we get the style. We'll figure that out. Okay. Yeah, so div and styles.cell, which doesn't exist. So let's create styles for each of these. So it's going to be a dot default or cell dash default. Can you do dashes or underscores? So default for now does nothing. And let's go back to our kind of mental map. So default cell dash correct. We also need to keep track of the letters that you've typed in, but we can maybe have that as a second two-dimensional array. Or these become actual objects, maybe? Maybe they become an object. Ooh, interesting. This, yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. So, correct, close, and wrong. Okay. So, this is going to be cell. I'm all over the place. So this is going to be cell default. You can't do dashes. It's going to have to be underscore, isn't it? And this is going to be default. Yeah, okay. So we can do cell default, cell correct, cell close, and cell wrong. Wrong doesn't really do anything. Wrong is kind of the same as default, isn't it? And we don't need a default because we know we control what's going on. So process cell. Let's then stick that into here. We'll wrap this in the curved brackets because I hate implicit returns. No, I need to do my indentations better. So let's do this. Let's do a new line here, and then in here we're going to do process cell item. And nothing happens yet, which is okay. Let's change a few of these just to get the styles going. So I'm going to say this is correct. This is close. Correct. Correct. Close. 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 Obviously nothing's happening yet, so let's inspect our dev tool. So we want this correct. And if we go back to normal Wordle, we'll close this. So we want it background to be green. Let's get the green that they have. May as well try and get it matching. Let's close this. Let's go in here. So this is cell default. That should be cell correct. So it actually needs to be applied to the LI, which I probably should have thought of. So actually this is going to be, can I do multiple cursors? Yes, I can. So this is actually going to just return the style that we want. And this is where I'm regretting doing CSS modules, because can you do multiple? Well, it takes on the class object. Can I do commas, CSS modules, multiple modules, multiple classes? Yeah, you define them as a template string. Okay, cool. So this now becomes a template string. Yeah, going over my. Let's bring this down a wee bit. So that should attach the other style to it. Let's refresh this. Not item. I keep forgetting the wrapped and curved brackets. Okay, so this one should have our cell. Yes, cell correct. So cell correct is going to be background. Oh, I lost the copy and paste. So if I do background this, but use the color picker. Oh, you can't color pick off another site, can you? So let's grab this and grab the hex from here for our green. Because if we're making a Wordle clone, we may as well be making a proper clone. Okay, so that's our background. Nope, not the default, but this. So success is that, and what do they use for the yellow? Now the color picker comes in. Fuck me. So close. So yeah, we got our close background color. I wonder if we display flex these. Inspect. I want it centered vertically and horizontally. Flex. Items. Center. Justify content. Center. Cheap and dirty flex box. So that goes to our box class. Okay, so they're all lined. So if they're in that condition, then we know what they are. The wrong isn't necessary, but we need to keep it there actually. Well, no, it's not being used. And our default isn't really being used either. So we don't care about those because we don't do anything. It's only if it's correct or close. Okay, so we have that render out now. We don't obviously want the item. We want it to be the text that they've typed in. So let's then imagine that. So we have our grid. I'm going to see if I can rename this to be score grid. And then we're going to have a second grid. Letter grid. And let's default it with null values. So we'll do this, but we'll say and I'm sure there's probably a more dynamic way that we could be generating this, but we're doing this in an hour. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we've got our letters grid and our score grid. So let's take the indexes actually. So we're going to say index in here. And we're going to say row index equals index. Go into our row, and then we're mapping over here again, and we're going to say index, and then we'll have this to hand here. We'll also get a row index. We call row index. So we could probably say console, clear this, refresh. Yeah, so we've got row 0, cell 1, 0, 2, 0, 1, blah, 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 blah. So that builds up our indexing. So we now have a way to map across those two grids. Now, does Solid have context? I guess the reactive equivalent would be reactive utility stores. Okay, using stores. So we want to put this stuff in a store, I guess. So create a store. Like store, these APIs are available in the Solid store. Allow creation of stores. Partially does that allow you to allow a tree to be signals to be independently tracked and modified? Where is context? What the hell is a store? Create a store, read some value, set some value. Does that work? To allow a tree of signals to be independently tracked. Because the thing, they call things signals. Signals is state. But I did see create context. Context provides a form dependency injection. Solid is used to save from needing to pass data as prompts. I think we're probably doing context. So counter context. So you export counter context, counter provider, which has a create store. Okay, so then use that to hold the state. You say store equals the state, and then some functions, and then you wrap the entire thing in that. Then you have a use context where you can use that context, and then you get the state, or you get the functions coming in. Okay, so let's create a new folder, or new file. So we'll call this store, I guess. I hate being very bland with these things. Store.jas, and we're gonna say, I'm going to import create context. When this drives me up the fucking walls with these kind of tutorials. Where does create context come from? Can I just import it from Solid? So if I do import create context from like this, that work as an import? No, it doesn't. They never give you the fucking import statements. Where do I import create context from? This is where someone watching along who knows how to use this would be very useful. Let's look at the examples. Create menu, create store. Unless it's why can't they just have the one module that everything gets imported from? So they have create store comes from /store. So let's try create store. No. Does this give us it? Oh, it does. Context. Comes from reactive signal. So I'm looking for create context, which isn't in there. I wonder, is it under reactive? Nope. Observable? This is frustrating. Solid JS create context. Shouldn't have to like a shut up. Yeah, it's creative context. component APIs, create context, ID simple provider. Do you have to import? You have to import everything. I don't have any state examples. Let's try and use it anyway. I don't think it'll work, but so we'll do const, and we're actually going to grab these two things from our app and put them in here. So we're going to say const score context, I guess. Well, actually no, we'll make the one context that holds both of these. So const Wordle context equals create. I call this create content. It's context. Maybe that's why I couldn't find it. Okay, yeah, it's in there. I was flipping my lid over nothing. But I'm the Dyslexic developer, and this is Hello Drunk World. We're not going to get things right the first time. And then this. So the context takes an ID. No, create context takes a default value. Create context, counter context, kind of equals 0, and then the empty object. Why is it passing an array? Let's look at the type definition, I guess. What is the context? So yeah, default value. What is default value? Just of type T. So I think I'm going to pass in score grid and letter grid as our context. Then export. I don't like functions, but we'll copy this example. Wordle provider. Props. So we'll give it some props, and then let's say const. So I'm just going to copy and paste this shit in. Nothing's going to work for us, but let's say you watch me type. So we need create store from solid. Why is it taking that in? I guess we have to export this as well. So we export our Wordle context. As we have a capital W to match the documentation. Wordle context, creator context, we give it our grids. Not very descriptive in this small example. This function creates a new context object that can be used to provide with use context and provides the provider context. Default context is used when no provider is found above in the hierarchy. So I just think our store is just going to be do we need to give this a default if we're going to be passing it in? Yeah, we'll just set this to be our store again. think this is how solid does it. Then our state, and then we want to say update score, which is probably going to be, yeah, X, Y, Z in value. Nicely done. X, Y, Z in value, and update letters X, Y, Z and value, and we'll log that out too. So then we return a component that's wrapped with the provider and the store. So I guess we could then update our app to be wrapped in this provider. Import Wordle provider. What did I call the store? Just store. So Wordle provider from store, we wrap everything in that. Let's see if it's exploded. Failed to parse because fill up our source for import analysis because JS syntax. If you're using JSX, make sure you name. Okay, so because our store actually does have some JS or JSX, we need to call it JSX. It must be like a Vite feature, which has broken everything. Yeah, just not by create store. Where does create store come from? Why does it come from the web or the store? Why can't it all just be in the one feckin' package? At least I didn't complain about the context, which I was calling content for ages. So, current context is not defined in our store. Ah, yes, because I copy and pasted, so that's actually Wordle context. And what's our error now? Score grid is not defined. Oh, yes, because, okay, so now we can use our context. So there is a use context, isn't there? Use context. Use to grab context to allow for deep passing of prompts without having to pass them. So let's grab this. Let's go to app, which needs it. So why won't you import? No, it's not going to be incremental, but we actually don't need those functions. We just need the state. And then we're going to say const score grid. So we'll deconstruct score grid from our state, which I guess we could probably do here. Stop rattling. What's this complaining about? Extra space or? Oh, you can probably deconstruct an array as well as deconstruct the value out. So we can say How do I deconstruct again? I cannot believe I was doing this in work today. State equals score grid. Oh god, it's been a long day. Score grid equals how do I deconstruct? I can't believe I've forgotten how to deconstruct. I have an object. Am I losing my mind? Yeah, so I do cons score grid. Yes, brackets. Oh my god, maybe I'm too dropping. Maybe I do like Malbec. Yeah. So we have our score grid. Okay, so let's go back to our app, and it is falling over. Counter context is not obviously defined. We need Wordle context, and we're gonna stick that in here. Let's refresh. You still broke. Use context is not a function, or is return value is not iterable. Use context is not a function. That should work. App 20, use state, use context. Wordle context. Let's see if we can get context examples a bit more deeper. Current provider. What do you mean used? Oh, this is an interactive one. Solve it for me. So counter provider, blah 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 blah. What is counter look like? Create signal, blah 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 blah. Did I do the create signal part? I created store. Should I create signal? I think so. Create signal comes from solid itself. So we don't need create store. And we'll use create signal, we'll hold our state. So we have our state, set state, store, our store functions, and then we return our context, top provider value store. We want to use that. We wrap our whole thing in provider. I don't know why you always have to pass in the fucking props. I don't care about the props. Yeah, we don't need that. So word provider wraps the entire. I know why, because we're trying to use the context outside of where it's being used. So let's move our Wordle provider out to our index. And can we do that? Main, we'll call this. Yeah, I forgot about React context. Like you kind of have to. So Wordle provider, app, Wordle provider. Nice. So now we actually render main. Then we go back to app. We get rid of, or we go back to the top of the file. We get rid of this. We get rid of this. We clean our lines up. We save, and we pray that that was exactly what I needed to do, and maybe not. Score grid map, console, category properties of map of undefined. So, what is score grid? What is state? Oh, it's a signal. So we have the use counter. Ah, yes. It's a function. So this is the other thing. So like in React, you just use it, whereas in Solid, they're called as a function. Okay, we're back to where we were, and we're on schedule-ish. So let's go. So yeah, we have our score grid state. So like, let's copy this because we're going to need that when we go into our row. So we're not passing too many props down. And I'll do the same here. And we'll need to import those as well. Do we need Wordle context? We don't need the provider here anyway. So let's grab this, paste it in here, and then instead of score grid, we want header grid, if that's what I called it. Yep, letter grid. Yep, so I'm going to actually make this a bit narrower, make this a bit wider. Just so we can get the full screen. So now this, instead of being the number, it's going to be the letter that we have there, which is all going to be nulls at the minute. So this is going to be letter grid, row index, and then index, which is actually cell index. So I'm going to call it that. And we fail. What do we fail for? Index not defined. Index not defined. Yes. Should have done the rename function on that instead. Okay, so there's nothing here now. But if I go to our store, let's say like this is T. And that'll bring up T. So now we can map what these are. So that's null. Let's get these all back to 0 and see if we can capture some input. 0. What was I thinking? Like what the number could have been? Of course it would be 0. They're all 0. Okay, so all 0. This should hot reload. I don't know why it doesn't hot reload. I have to refresh it, but we'll let that slide. My own air sign stayed on as well, which is quite good. So we're on fresh. Right, now this is a little story. This is where it gets interesting because I now need to capture user input, and I feel like this is going to be, I'll bring my browser out of it so I can get, I feel like this is going to be their version of use effect, which is create effect where we can do a side effect, because what we want to do is create an event listener that will read user typing on the keyboard, because we need that. So it seems just like you create an effect you call a function, you don't need it, so you can pass it a dependency array. So the effect function is called as an argument equal to the value from the effect function last. Right. Effects are in general a way to make arbitrary code run whenever dependencies change. Create effect creates a new computation that runs given the function, given function in a tracking scope, thus automatically tracking its dependencies and automatically returns the function whenever the dependency is updated. For example, this. this effect, or effect that depends on signal A, because it's inside of it, okay? The effect function gets called when an argument equal to the value returned from the effect function's last execution, or on the first call equal to the optional second argument to create a function. This allows you to compute diffs without creating an additional closure to remember the last computation. So I only want this to run once because I want to add an event listener. Although they have lifecycle methods, so there's an all mind. Register the method that runs after initial render and elements have been mounted. Ideal for using refs and managing other one-time site. Yeah, so we're going to do a mount. I assume this comes out of solid. The auto-completion tells me it probably does. So you give it a function and it's just that. So mount. So we need to create an event listener. So we're going to say document, show it there. Cool. So key code, don't know if that's the right thing. We're gonna print out the event. Console.log or e, and we'll comment this out for now. Save this and go back to our Solid app, refresh, get up the DevTools. So let's type. Okay, the manager window's a bit better here. So A. So we got a keyword event. And we have a key. So key is A. What happens when we do enter? We get a keyboard event. And that is the key of enter. That one was, we're looking for the key and enter. So what was that? Key meta. I guess because I don't really care about shifts and shit like that. So we're gonna say, and we have our state. So we're gonna say console dot right. If what was it again? It was event dot key. If e dot key dot length equals 1, so it's a letter. Console dot log the key. If e dot key dot length greater than 1 and e dot key dot do to lowercase equals enter. We're missing another curve bracket. Yeah, console.log to enter. So that's all we care about then. Typing the key and hitting enter. Fuck backspace, that's right. I'm not doing the removing characters. My Wordle's hardcore. You get one chance. Re-render, and then I go Q, not in the DevTools, obviously. Click on the app. Q. Okay, so we got that. So let's start using our functions. Oh, this actually better done on the row one because I need to know. No, I can work on it. I can shit all over the place. So we have our score grid. We also need letter grid. And our state, we need our set functions. So I need both. No, not those. Update score. Let's try update letters first. Update letters. Yes, because I can say go along to the one that's not null and then set the letter there. And then go along the one that's not null, set the letter there. So setting the letter. So we're going to say update letters. And it's going to be, because I don't know what rule. We need more state. We need more state. Current row and our current row is 0. Current column is also 0. So let's grab these values and pull them out of our state. So yeah, because when we hit enter, we'll increase the current row. When we type a letter, we'll increase the current column. Perfect. So we need functions to do that. Update row. Gonna be a new row. And we can set the state, can't we? Oh shit. Set. Yeah, I forgot that's just a written necessity. Sandbox always adds an additional fucking line that didn't need to be there, which throws everything off. So current row equals new row. Yes. So let's do the same for update column. It's going to be a current column. Call this column. This is column. Let's call this row. And we'll call this row. I forgot my M. So we have an update row and we have an update column. So now they come out of here. So this is where it gets more and more complicated, but it's fine. Just reformat everything. Right, so update letters is going to be current row, current column, a.key. And then after that, we want to say update column plus 1, because we're not updating the row yet. Get rid of these console.logs for now. And then this is going to be update column to be 0, update row to be current row plus 1. Okay, that's what we want. We don't even need the letter grid here because we can use our indexes. Let's save this and let's see what happens. I'm going to open the dev tools for this because it's going to be funky. Oh, it's not actually doing the update, does it? Fuck. Let's go back to our store. So, update letter. So this is going to be set state letter grid. Let's see what that did first. So we are updating state. I think it still needs to be a function, doesn't it? So yeah, state needs to be a function because it's a signal. So we say letter grid, then we say state. I guess that should be function 2, shouldn't it? Let's see. We had an example about setting state, didn't we? What's our state? It says state. Retitle. Today's state of today's. Okay, yeah, so we don't need this to be a function then. Yeah, so we're saying our letter grid now becomes our current state letter grid dot slice up until our x, which is our row. Yeah, that's a row and another column. Then get that row, split out, set the new values. So yeah, okay, this gives us a try. Let's clear this, refresh. No, that didn't do anything. I removed letter grid from our app, but I think I'm prematurely let it go. There's another console.log somewhere else. Let's do my head in. Let's refresh this and go to our console, clear, refresh. So our letter grid is that. If I do A, it doesn't trigger a re-render. I would have expected that to get hit again after updating those. Update letters. Calls a set state. What does our set state do? So signal. So we're using a signal for our state. Calling the setter, sets the signal value and updates the signal, triggering depends to rerun if the value actually changed, blah 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 blah. So let's actually grab this and turn this into a non-implicit return. we'll log out the new state as well. Let's refresh this and go A. Score grid stays the same, letter grid A. Why is it not rerunning the component? Alternate state. What is this? What is this? In here, we have that wraps the app, which we render. Counter has the create signal there, gets passed through and nested. Clicks on the increment. Increment. Use counter. Which is just returning you use context. Use context from Solitaires. Let's try make our own use function. Maybe because I'm deconstructing this. If I'm saying a state, pulling the functions out using Wordle context, not using counter context. Only thing I can think of is because I'm doing it inside of a mount. But I'm tracing the whole way through, like letters. What does update columns do? Oh, is update columns kicking in immediately and resetting it? No, because I would have saw that trigger too. Right, let's remove this first. It could be a reactive thing. Yeah, it didn't do it either. Let's see, let's go sources. So here. 0, 0, key is A. Let's go to our store function. 0, 0, A. And set state as a function. State is what our current state is. So we're saying, oh, why is this fall over? State dot letter grid. So our new state, which is our letter grid and our score grid. Jump over that. Get no errors. Particularly in the app, do we need to know? I don't think we actually need context. I think the context is fucking over. So, where are we? We're in app. Let's go back to the store. don't think we actually need to put this on, we can just put it as props at the very top level. And also grab these. They come from solid itself, which I think I have imported. And let's create our state. Create our update functions, which will just create them in the actual thing itself. It's probably not good practice, but sure, here you guys have fuck. And we go here, 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 and here. We're going to const. And get rid of the commas. Oh, okay, that wasn't. Clean this up. Fix the format, and so now we have our state, which is the signal. We have our upstate score. Are we actually using that yet? No, not yet. Okay, now it's fucking working. Console. Current row is not defined. Current row is not defined. Does this become a closure? So we have to define this function outside. Let's replace this. Alt key press, Alt save. Current row is not defined. So we get stuck in those weird stupid closures. I guess this will have a memo or use callback or whatever. Effect. Do we want a memo? Is it? Extensive value. Is that exactly what I want? Oh, actually, sorry. Row. Oh, actually, we need to deconstruct this out from the state. Oop, my bad, that's why. Okay, so let's save this, let's rerun. See if it falls over and doesn't work. Kind of has to sort grid of what to call this. Because we can't call everything the same name. We have to do this. What the fuck now? Oh, because they were being implicitly used, so really? Oh, sort grid is being deconstructed from the state. So why is that not? Gallery map of score grid. Score grid comes from the state. Function. So this is a function because it's a signal. So refresh this. I do A. Still not updating. Still not. Oh, is it refreshing? I don't fucking know at this point. So let's look in our app. So we set a new state. New state is this console blah, blah. We return it, so I should set the state, which should re-render. Let's go to the docs for create signal. Signal is the most basic right premise is trying to get a single value, which may be a JavaScript object that changes over time. The signal's value starts out equal to the past first argument, initial value, or undefined. The create signal function returns a pair of functions as two elements, which is our set state. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, okay. Yeah, so I call that. Why is it not? Why is it not triggering a re-render? I'm setting the fucking state. Right, let's put in some simplistic state. Let's see if that can work. So const foo set foo equals create signal, and it's going to be that on key press. I'm going to say set foo to be bar, and in here I'm going to say foo. I need to have a state right zone, maybe. I probably should have done that from the start actually, so now update letters is going to be set letter grid. What's that? Set state, update column. Or current row. Yeah, clutching straws at this point. I get rid of score. I don't give a fuck about score yet. So I'll take letters is all I care about. Let's get rid of everything else. So we're going to set the first letter. So I'll take letters. We get the X and the Y value. So we're gonna get, so we can say new state equals X. No, that's not gonna work. Yeah, so in here we're gonna say return get slice X. Yeah, it's gonna be like that. So that sets that. Right. Oh, you piece of shit. Foo is not defined. Oh, right. Get rid of foo. We know single items to state work. Let's work out that map is this. So why isn't that? Oh, because this has to be a function. Okay, so can we probably slice them fine? Does this need to be a function? If all these need to be function calls, then I'm not using solid.js, because fuck this shit. Letter is not a function, but I can't break on that fucking return statement. Right. What is letter grid? Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing. I don't think letter grid's in context of where we are. See, I should be able to evaluate this. But I know it's not going to be defined because it's not inside of this function because it's a closure. We'll play it to the next, right? So what is this? I guess it's not a function. So right, so let's refresh this. Where's the browser? Oh, not the devtools, console. Fresh, clear. Cannot read property a slice. So what is X? Bind read signal. Oh my god, they have to be function calls. Oh, fuck my life. If that's been the problem the whole time, I'm gonna go absolute fucking apeshit. Console, let's take off my breakpoints, they're off, refresh. So that's not still printing anything out. So I'm going to log out everything on every render to see what happens. And again, they're functions. I don't know where they thought that the function thing notation was going to be good, because it makes it really awkward just to use things, because everything has to be a function. When maybe I'm just so used to React and not being like that, but current row should not be that. Current row is a create signal of 0. Current column. What is going on? Oh, sorry. Fuck. I thought in my mind. Copy and paste the wrong things. So yeah, that is current rows twice, current column. Right. I'm getting close to giving up on this shit anyway, but current row, okay, so if I type A, no, re-render. Is there something that it has to do to re-render it? Set state, set in multiple values. There's something I'm missing in this pattern. I think it's this point. If I create an effect, so if I do, it's going to be create effect. It's going to be why I wasted so much time. Right, does create effect come from here? Let's see. So if I change this to create effect, no, nothing. It's, I have to really handle a DOM event and then I guess if we put everything in the state. Nope, typing is not doing anything. It's setting it. I know it's fucking setting it. It's just not re-rendering. And we're not using the context, and we're using the local state. There must be something missing when you update a signal. To create variables for these. Let's look at examples. For a counter, count with set count, create a signal, interval, set count. Clean up. What does this own cleanup get called? Yeah, it's just reading the values. So I'm reading the values. Reading the value there. Oh, but I'm here. I'm reading it from the fucking context, right? I'm gonna pass in the letter word as well then. Maybe the console logs aren't working. So we'll get rid of this shit. I haven't got the point where I fucking do the actual calculation to see if you pass Wordle or not. Let's save that. Yeah, we've hit my mental breaking point here, but we can't seem to get a complex state change to happen in Solid.js, which, although I admit I didn't read the docs, but shouldn't be that hard to achieve. We are setting our state. Am I setting the right state? Yeah. Like that is, even if I just set that to be like on key press. Yeah, a simple set state, because inside of an effect, which is depending on all those, but this event listener isn't then triggering the re-render. Both show sources first, event listener. Create the signal, update the signal. Exactly what I'm doing. Alright, function handle mouse. So that's handle mouse movement. Is there a handle key or is there fucking something? So in here, so this, then I can just go what handle key press. Is that it? Is that fucking it? Why was that not called out anywhere in the docs? Yeah, handle key press is not defined, so even this is not right. Alright, we have them in the div, but you're not wrapping in the div here. It doesn't actually work either. I give up. We've been here before in many Hello Drunk Worlds, and we're all near 2 hours. Fuck. So we were defeated by the framework and possibly by the drunk, but we'll come back to Salt.js another time. Thank you for watching along, and if you watch this back on YouTube, God help you have patience to be able to watch this stuff. And